That is a new web video from the John Kasich campaign targeting Donald Trump. And if the language sounds familiar, that's because it invokes a famous warning about Nazis. I want to bring in our panel to talk about this. Donna Brazil, Sean Spicer, Bakari Sellers, and S.E. Cupp. Sean, to you first on this. If Republicans, for instance, Kasich in this instance, if Republicans are successful in this line of attack, are you worried that Donald Trump will just turn around? He's hinted last week, a third-party run isn't out of the realm of question. Are you worried about that?
I'm not. I think Mr. Trump's made it clear. We've had conversations with him. He understands the importance of staying a Republican. He signed the pledge. He understands that any break in the Republicans will help Hillary Clinton get elected, and that's something that he won't stand for. But I think getting to the video, look, it's no surprise. We at the RNC really invoke Reagan's 11th commandment. We believe that our candidates should be focused on expressing their vision on why they want to be president of the United States and focusing their attacks on Hillary Clinton, the presumptive Democratic nominee.
That's the only thing that keeps the Republicans together. Look, xenophobia is very popular right now in the Republican Party, and Donald Trump is the leader of the choir. And as long as he's able to get the kind of support that he's getting by raising his voice and demonizing people, Donald Trump is going to continue to lead within the Republican Party.
You've had a lot of Republicans come out against what Donald Trump has said, and I think it's pretty irresponsible to paint the entire party as xenophobic. He's got 35% of the vote. That means 65% of the party is not with Donald Trump. Look, I think attempts to paint Donald Trump as a Nazi or a fascist frankly gives him too much credit. To assume that he's got some kind of guiding principle leading him through any of this, I think is giving him way too much credit. I think he is purely acting on reflex and responding to, the crowds, and we just are kind of along for the ride.
Well, the video was good. Yeah, I thought the video was really good. I thought that Kasich, we're talking about him this morning. People are talking about him across the country, and, his name hasn't been one that's been on the rise lately. But Donald Trump does use bigoted language. Donald Trump does use language that is xenophobic, to say the least. He's offended everyone, I think, in this country except rich white men. And so, when you have that type of dialogue, when you have that type of rhetoric, I'm just glad somebody finally punched him back in the mouth.
Are you worried, Sean,
he's
that
offended rich white men, too?
I was going to say, I think he actually has. But, Donna, you hear what Donna's saying. You hear what Hillary Clinton is saying. She's painting all Republicans with this Donald Trump brush.
Right.
Don't you worry about that?
You know why? Because look, when you look at every battleground poll, every one of our candidates beats her head-to-head, not just nationwide, but in key battleground states. So we can talk about that, but the reality is that if I were a Democrat, if I were Donna or Bakari, what I would be concerned about is that they have put all of their eggs in one basket, and that basket is broken. Hillary Clinton's unfavorables are so off the chart, it's unbelievable. She has no trust. She flip-flops on every issue. They have a set of rules for themselves that they follow. That's true. And the fact of the matter is that
Sean,
with 100% name ID,
the Republican brand is unfavorable.
Don't worry about the Republican brand. Look at the head-to-head. And right now, Hillary Clinton loses every day of the
I think Sean can't say with a straight face. Most Republicans can't say with a straight face that Donald Trump will beat Hillary Clinton in a
Donald Trump will beat Hillary Clinton.
But we know that
every one of those candidates will beat Hillary Clinton.
I'm not Mitt Romney. I got $10. But look, the truth is that we don't have a nominee in the Democratic Party.
Yes, you do.
No, we don't.
It's a
we
joke.
still have.
Give me a break.
No, because
you're saying Martin O'Malley could pull it out, right?
Yeah.
You know what?
He has a chance.
We're having a different kind of debate and discussion in the Democratic Party. Bernie Sanders.
Going through the motions.
Good. Because that's good. That improves democracy, that strengthens our debate within our party, and that gives us a very strong, viable candidate when our process is over.
I think
let's talk about
more vibrant.
But I do believe that one of the three candidates will become the 45th president of the United States.
Well, let's talk about some of the other candidates. It is Cruz, not Ben Carson, who is now Donald Trump's chief rival in Iowa. There's an important poll that came out this week, and it shows that Ted Cruz is really, look at him. There he is at 23%, really close to Donald Trump, splitting Donald Trump and Ben Carson, which is where we've seen those two men aligned there. Do you think that it's for Carson, and he's even said this, he thinks it's the terrorism issue that is making voters say, maybe not. Maybe he's not the guy. Maybe he doesn't have the experience.
I think there's a lot of volatility right now that's going to exist both in New Hampshire and in Iowa, and you're going to see people go up and down. And that's historically always been the case. I think we're going to see more volatility between now and when Iowa goes to their caucuses February 2nd and New Hampshire goes to their primary February 9th. There's going to be more volatility. That shouldn't surprise anyone. That's always been the case. Fully expect it to be the case this cycle.
What do you think about the terrorism issue and how this is affecting the polls? It seems like it's really shaking it up.
It is, and any time foreign policy is front and center, I think it benefits Republicans. Most of the country thinks Republicans are better able to handle issues like and foreign policy issues. So that's, I guess, a good thing for our side. But for folks like Ben Carson, who have zero experience with any of this, and I'm sorry, he can take as many field trips abroad as he wants, he's not going to get the requisite experience that he needs. This is clearly turning some voters who previously liked him off and onto someone like Ted Cruz.
With Ted Cruz's rise,
yes.
I mean, I've heard Democrats in the Clinton campaign, they're worried about Marco Rubio. They're not as worried about Ted Cruz. Would you like to see Ted Cruz?
You know, I haven't talked to the Clinton campaign about who they're afraid of. But I tell you what, you know what, Ted Cruz is that little slow candidate that is building strong support and strength. He has the support of the evangelicals, and you know what? He's the guy who's organizing in the Deep South right now. So Ted Cruz is clearly on to something.
Donna, Sean